Star Trek just gave one of the original series' underrated aliens a much-needed makeover. When Star Trek, the original series, debuted in 1966, it introduced audiences to a galaxy of strange new worlds and stranger new species. From the familiar Vulcans to the terrifying Klingons, the show laid the foundation for decades of interstellar storytelling. But for every alien race that became iconic, there were others that never got the chance to flourish, species that were written off as one-off curiosities, often limited by the practical effects of the 1960s. Now, in the modern streaming era of Star Trek, those long-forgotten aliens are finally being given second lives. And in a move that delighted longtime fans, the franchise has just reintroduced one of the most overlooked species from the original series, giving them a sleek new redesign, a layered cultural identity, and a storyline that proves they're far more than just a relic of retro television. This is the makeover that not only redeems a long-dismissed alien race, but also showcases how Star Trek thrives on reinvention. The challenge of aliens in the original series. The limitations of TOS were both its charm and its greatest obstacle. On a tight budget and working with 1960s special effects, alien species often ended up as humans with different colored skin, forehead ridges, or, in some cases, just unusual clothing. The Orions, for example, became iconic not just because of their green skin, but because later series fleshed out their pirate syndicates and shadowy underworld. The Andorians began as blue-skinned beings with shaky antennae, but were fully revitalized by Enterprise, which turned them into one of the franchise's most beloved alien species. But then there are species like the Tellarites, Tholians, Horta, Gorn, and even the Medusans, all fascinating in concept but rarely given enough attention to shine. Some became punchlines, others fan curiosities. The result is that TOS left behind a small graveyard of aliens who felt undercooked, overshadowed by Vulcans, Klingons, and Romulans. The exciting part about modern Star Trek is that it has the technology, the budgets, and the audience appetite to revisit these forgotten species and finally give them the stories they deserve. The alien that got a makeover. The latest alien to be revived comes straight from the original series, the Tholians. First appearing in the episode The Tholian Web, 1968, the Tholians were a crystalline, non-humanoid species whose ships could weave energy webs around enemy vessels. Their bizarre, angular appearance and unique biology made them unforgettable, but the limitations of 1960s television meant they were seen as nothing more than flickering, transparent, insect-like creatures behind a screen. They were mysterious. They were fascinating. But they were also deeply underused. Aside from rare mentions in Enterprise and extended universe novels, the Tholians never became central to the larger mythology of Star Trek. Until now. A stunning redesign for a classic species, modern Star Trek has reintroduced the Tholians with cutting-edge CGI, transforming them from static crystalline shapes into dazzling, prismatic beings of living light. Their new look honors their TOS origins. The crystalline forms are still there, but now each Tholian shifts and refracts like a walking prism, their bodies pulsing with colors depending on their emotional state. Gone is the stiff, barely animated design of the 1960s. The Tholians now look truly alien, breathtaking, intimidating, and beautiful all at once. The franchise leaned into the idea that these are non-humanoids, eschewing the actors in rubber suits' approach in favor of fully alien creatures. Even more fascinating is how their voices have been updated. In TOS, Tholian speech was a distorted screech that sounded more like static. Now, their communication is depicted as harmonic resonance, a blend of crystal vibrations and musical tones that feel halfway between language and symphony. It's alien in the best way possible, but also strangely mesmerizing. The redesign doesn't just fix the visuals. It redefines the Tholians as a race worthy of major storylines, rather than one-off obstacles. A culture worthy of Star Trek. With the new makeover also comes a deeper cultural exploration. The modern Star Trek canon has given the Tholians an identity far beyond the species that builds energy webs. They are now depicted as a civilization that exists on the edge of Federation space, fiercely isolationist and bound by a strict code of crystalline harmony. Their society is structured around balance. Every Tholian is considered a note in a cosmic symphony, and disharmony is treated as the gravest sin. This ties directly into their language of resonant tones, making their culture inseparable from their biology. It also reframes their original appearance in TOS. In The Tholian Web, they reacted with hostility when Kirk's ship intruded on their territory. The new canon reveals this wasn't simple aggression but a cultural mandate, an instinct to preserve harmony at all costs. Their webs, once seen only as weapons, are now reframed as tools of preservation, geometric prisons that prevent disharmony from spreading. This is where the makeover succeeds most. It doesn't erase their past. It enriches it. Why the Tholians needed this makeover. Among the many TOS aliens that deserve revisiting, the Tholians stood out because they embodied one of Star Trek's greatest strengths, the promise of the truly alien. So many species in TOS were essentially humans with minor differences. The Tholians were not. They were strange, inorganic, and incomprehensible, exactly the kind of lifeforms Gene Roddenberry dreamed of when he wrote about seeking out new life. Yet, because of the limits of 1960s effects, they became little more than an idea. Without modernization, they risked remaining a footnote in Trek lore. By reimagining them with today's visual power and storytelling depth, Star Trek proves that no alien is too obscure to become meaningful. In many ways, this is part of a broader pattern in modern Star Trek, taking forgotten aliens and giving them depth. Just as Enterprise did for Andorians and Tellarites, and just as Strange New Worlds has revitalized the Gorn, the Tholians are now poised to become major players in the 25th century narrative. The ripple effect across the franchise. Reintroducing the Tholians doesn't just satisfy fans of TOS. It opens new storytelling doors. Their unique biology challenges Starfleet's traditional diplomacy. Their crystalline worlds present fascinating scientific mysteries. Their obsession with harmony raises ethical dilemmas that resonate with Star Trek's long history of exploring culture clashes. Already, fans are speculating about potential Tholian arcs. Federation-Tholian tensions escalating into a Cold War that mirrors real-world geopolitical struggles. Tholian individuals seeking asylum in the Federation, leading to fascinating questions about integration and cultural preservation. Exploration of their homeworld, a planet of crystalline structures and impossible geometries that push the boundaries of Trek's world building. Alliances with other classic species, perhaps connecting the Tholians to the mysterious Medusans, another energy-based lifeform first seen in TOS. By modernizing one underrated alien, the writers have given themselves endless narrative opportunities and fans a chance to rediscover what made Star Trek great in the first place. A testament to Star Trek's enduring spirit, the Tholian makeover is more than just an aesthetic update. It's a reminder that Star Trek is a living, evolving universe. No species is ever truly forgotten. No idea is ever wasted. The franchise has always been about reinventio,